Okay, let's get more on this from Toby Cadman, who joins me from the Bangladesh capital, Dhaka. He's an international human rights lawyer, and it's a great pleasure to have you on, Toby. First of all, the US sanctions on ICC staff, I mean, it sounds concerning. I don't know what that means in reality. How would you describe the situation?
Well, I think it is very concerning. Obviously, we've heard what Trump said yesterday when he met with Netanyahu. He has carried through on his promise to use his executive powers rather than awaiting the Senate. So, and the sanctions that effectively been imposed now on staff working on cases that affect the United States and Israel and their families is deeply disturbing. Attacking an international judicial body like the ICC, not only is it dangerous for the future operation of the ICC and their cases, but it stands as a very dangerous precedent for other states to adopt similar action. We've obviously previously criticized Russia for sanctioning the ICC in relation to the investigations into Ukraine, but coming from the United States, this is deeply disturbing.
If we just think about the concept of justice and how it's administered, it strikes me that if a citizen in any particular country tried to influence a court's decision in a domestic legal case, I would have thought that would be considered some kind of offence. I don't know what kind, perverting course of justice, for example, something. Is Trump's order not the same, an attempt to interfere with the ICC administering justice?
That's right. And certainly we've seen not only from the United States, but also from Israel seeking to influence the work of the ICC. And that effectively constitutes an offence against the administration of justice. It's obstruction. And whilst both the United States and Israel have both said that they do not recognize the ICC, it has no jurisdiction over their states, well, the ICC does have jurisdiction over the situation in Palestine. And any attempt to interfere or influence its work could constitute an offence of obstruction. But even wider than that, if we look at some of the other statements that have been made by the Trump administration in terms of cleaning out Gaza, with comments being made of ethnic cleansing and forcible deportation, that of course also falls within the jurisdiction of the ICC. So it's not just the sanctions that are worrying.
Continuing with that example, when someone commits obstruction of justice in an individual nation, it's quite simple to solve. You send the police round, they arrest them, there's a trial and they go to prison if they're found guilty. What happens when it's on an international scale? What can the ICC or any of its members do about this?
Well, if we look at the practice of the international tribunals, there's a long history of targeting individuals who obstruct its work, that they can be brought before the court and face prosecution. Of course, we're not expecting anyone in the United States or Israel to voluntarily surrender themselves to the court, but certainly cases investigations can be initiated. When you have obstruction on this scale, of course, this will be a matter that will be discussed among the state parties that make up the International Criminal Court, 120 members. They will be discussing this, and I'm sure there will be discussions from the Netherlands, from the United Kingdom, because of those that are being sanctioned, targeted, as to whether those sanctions can even be implemented. I mean, a lot of what we're hearing now is rhetoric, is that this is an existential threat to the International Criminal Court and how it operates in the future. So, and I don't think that is an extreme argument to make. I think this is an existential crisis for the International Criminal Court, and how the other states, how its members react, will determine what the ICC is in the future.
Toby, it was a great pleasure to have you on. Appreciate your insight and expertise. Toby Cadman, international human rights lawyer, my guest.